Hey there, Brady here with your daily tennis lesson. So we're looking at coaching styles this week. I got my buddy Ian from Essential Tennis here again today. Super pumped to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're gonna look at the one-handed backhand today. You've got one, I've got one. It's just one of my favorite shots in tennis. Definitely a bunch of things to look at as far as how to coach it.
Yeah.
Really quick, I think let's gloss over the grip. I just tell people to hit out of an Eastern backhand grip. Are you with the same mindset?
Yeah, I am. I used to be a little more on the fence about whether or not it was really necessary to be that far.
Yeah.
And with recent experiences for myself, I really think it's critical, actually.
Yeah.
Like, if the racket face tends to fly open at all, then so much other stuff has to happen with the arm and with the shoulder.
Yeah.
And so if I could go back again and learn my one-hander all over, I would start from the beginning in a pretty strong, full Eastern backhand grip.
For sure. I've just, sometimes I'll be rallying with a client, I just accidentally don't get over, lazy, whatever it is. Especially with the poly string now, I'll just be like, oh, that didn't feel great, because you're trying to get the ball to do what you'd normally get it to do in a different fashion. So Eastern grip to me is an absolute must. Which brings us into unit turn, getting the racket back. I can't start this off without the thought of my left hand helping kind of pull me out to my left side, you to your right side with your right hand. You with me on that?
Yeah, I am. I think whatever can help get the shoulders and the chest, back, I like that a lot. I've heard a lot of other people say like face looking over the shoulder is like a really common old school, thought in terms of like activating the torso and the core, as well as maybe like show the back, to the other side of the court. Any of those I think are fantastic just for making sure that the big parts of the body are active and it's not just the hand and the arm going around.
Right. It's just a one-handed backhand is definitely an expanded, bigger stroke than a player would make with a two-hander.
For sure.
So if that non-dominant hand can really help pull me up into that take-back position, I feel like the rest of the body just follows and engages me to get set well. So we got Joel here who helped hugely with Ian to write their new book. So we're going to take a look at Joel's one-handed backhand. He honestly has a two-hander. So he's doing us a favor here. But let's look at how he takes that racket back. He's got his Eastern grip. Okay, so left hand starting on the throat of the racket. Pretty good. Let's go two more here, Joel.
Nice.
Yeah, and so Joel, do me a favor. Take your racket back where you thought you were getting to. Good. So this to me is a really prime position. I would actually bring your left hand a little higher and expand that hand so you're putting less pressure on the grip here. Unbeknownst to Joel, once you felt ready to swing, you're going way back here, okay? Which is a move you might see some pros out there get around the body. I know myself when I go for a really big backhand, I'm getting behind my body more. But for a player that's maybe 3-5, 4-0, even 4-5, this is really the position where we want to start to engage that drop, not continue around the body. You agree with that?
Yeah, with one caveat, it was a great position, Joel. Notice how Joel's shoulders are turned well past perpendicular to the baseline.
Yep.
I would say as long as the torso is turned past perpendicular, I agree. Where I've gotten into trouble with my backhand in the past is I would have a little bit more shallow position like this and not bring it around with my hands. But for me, I think kind of the core reason was I was very weak with my body turn. And so the result was I had to really crank my arm and my shoulder a lot. So just like little like detail that I think is super key. As long as your shoulders and your chest are turned past perpendicular, I totally agree.
Yeah. Pretty good though, Joel, for not having a one-hander, okay? All right, so next piece of the puzzle for this one-hander, Ian, I'm gonna defer to you on this, but I am just so in love with the feeling of my arms going opposite directions. And I'm long, so when I see videos of myself coaching a one-hander, I'm like kind of surprised how much extension there is. But I feel like even a player your guys' size can get such maximum reach if we're not just swinging the dominant arm, but really feeling the arms go opposite direction.
Yeah, and I'm going to plug briefly Ryan Reedy. I think says it really well. He, in a video he did with me recently about the one-handed backhand, he calls the one-handed backhand a 1.5 handed backhand, meaning like initially when you see professional players, their non-dominant hand starts to come along with the racket before it separates.
Yep.
And I think the timing of it and like the little detail there is important, because if players want to immediately out of the gate try to copy that nice, separated,
Yeah.
hands separating kind of look and feel, like kind of the ballerina,
Sure.
feel of
Sure.
it. If you accentuate that too much, then again the dominant arm starts becoming a little bit hanging out to dry.
Big time.
So yeah, I think there's enough engagement with the big parts of the body, and it gets sent along the way with a lot of support from the rest of the body. Once that happens, yeah, that separation does feel fantastic.
Awesome. So let's actually jump forward into the follow-through position. And this is where I have to coach a two-hander much different than a one-hander, because a two-hander, I want to see the hips, I want to see the shoulders at least square up to the other side of the court. If not, as we saw with that two-hander, if that butt cap's going to get out kind of down the baseline, the rotation to me is a lot bigger, where with a one-hander, because the extension is so much back to front, I feel like a player can, finish just coming out 45 degrees from where they started and have plenty of extension with the arms, where it almost gets complicated to rotate as much as you would with a two or the way we would off the forehand side.
Yeah, I totally agree. Not only does it get more complicated, but I think if a player has in their mind that they need a big, like 180-degree rotation with the body to hit a good one-handed backhand, then it tends to start to fall into like a very circular kind of chicken wing kind of lateral kind of swoosh of the racket, as opposed to more of a lifting and extending contact point and follow through. So there's no question about it. It's more of a sideways position as opposed to a forehand or a backhand that's more lateral rotation focused.
Yeah, you and I are in big agreement there. So Joel, let's bring you back in. So we're looking at that drop position, seeing how long the left hand stays on before the arms extend apart. Whoa!
He's
awesome
been paying attention
finish
back there.
too, Joel. Well, Joel, I think you're switching. I don't even think we have to hit another one. Give it up. Dude. That was incredible. Hey, we fix them one at a time.
There you go.
Brick by brick. Here we go.
Set them up and knock them down.
That's right. All right, so I want to get into your book a little bit. So you and I have talked, and I know that the conclusion to your book is extra special to you. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting having Mark here. Like I went through a really tough patch with tennis in my college career towards the end, where a lot of people online don't know this, but I actually quit my college team. I walked off it because I was just in a really negative, like dark space in my relationship with tennis. I spiraled down a really heavy, like perfectionist kind of path mentally. And I feel part of why I feel so strongly about what I do on the internet, providing resources like you guys do so well, helping people, all around the world, and now kind of culminating all of it and putting it all into one resource, which is the book, is more than anything, I want to arm people with what they need to guide themselves down a good, healthy path. In terms of technique, in terms of tactics, but also in terms of like the mind and mental toughness and competitive, health. All of it to me is fascinating, and I love teaching it. And yeah, the last part of the book is basically kind of me reflecting back on all those topics, my own journey through it, and just hoping that the reader comes away from reading the book with what they need to avoid that kind of a dark, place like what I was in.
Amazing. Well, I know so many of us out there on the Tennis Universe platform are so happy you came back to the game, because you do a great job with it. So cool to have you here this week.
Man. Appreciate it.
We got more to come this week with Ian, but until then, hope that video was super helpful. Please click like below this video, and if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, please do so, as well as check down below me in the description of this video. You'll find the link to 3 free courses Mark and I have put together. I think you'll find those really helpful as well. All right, so until next time, be well. We'll see you soon at Daily Tennis Lessons.